Well, there was
anything we can do about disappearing into the couch, or just have a nice edge. That's a nice firm, that's a nice firm cushion you've got going on there.
I fall asleep.
It's high end.
Can you watch the clock for me and Nathan?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go.
I know I'm gonna find some. I'm gonna find about $4 change down there. I know.
Those are mine. I lost it.
Oh, really? You're already saying that. So before we start, can you sit forward just a little bit?
Can we be on the floor?
Yeah, well, it's just, I don't want to talk to you guys. I do want to look at you.
Okay.
Sure.
Is that
Yeah,
better?
okay, good. That's so much better.
Good.
All right.
This
Now you're
camera,
in my periphery vision.
this camera's
And
gonna
I got
capture.
great periphery vision. I'm like a horse.
This is just
Yeah. I can see your left pocket. I'm like, oh,
What's in it?
yeah. I didn't say I had X-ray vision, okay? I didn't say I was super horse. Just horse.
So Amber Nelon, Daniel Britt, Dennis Quaid. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Gentle My Mind. I saw the video. Incredible.
Thank you.
Really great.
Thank you.
Loved it.
I love that song. I love Glenn Campbell.
Oh, gosh, I love that song.
I love Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell was, you know, besides Johnny Cash, Glenn Campbell came on with a show at that, back in the 60s. That just, you know, it changed television in a way, because it was like a new generation coming on with a variety show. You had, I mean, before they had Dean Martin, of course, and, you know, Carol Burnett, blah, blah, blah. But he came on, it was a new generation, and the guy was so talented, nobody could play guitar like Glenn Campbell. And that's what I realized right then and there, that I was never really going to be a real guitar player. Just like,
great
wow.
guitar player.
I'm a guitar player like Johnny Cash is a guitar player. Who is Johnny Cash is my number one. It's easier to wear black because it's easier to pack. Number one, is it not?
True.
So you know,
Goes with everything.
goes with most things. Unless you're going to a white elephant party or something like that, I guess.
Homecoming Radio with Daniel Britt, Amber Nelon, and Dennis Quaid is in the house.
Oh, hey, man. How are you?
I've got to start off by saying
Dennis
this.
Quaid is here.
He is here in our presence, and we're honored to have you. Now, as someone who studies the arts, and you've done that, and the world knows you as an actor, you've also, obviously, you've studied music. And where was this birthed, this love for music?
Well, I don't know if you call it study music, because that always kind of has a connotation of homework to it, and so that I was never really big on that. So it's like listen to music, play music. That's why they call it playing music, because it's so much fun. And I discovered it really early on, and I guess hearing Elvis and Hank Williams on the radio as a kid, and you know, and that was what. Then the Beatles came along, of course, and added that to it. But Johnny Cash has really been my, imaginary mentor in a way. I never actually got to meet him. I talked to him on the phone once, back when I was doing Jerry Lee Lewis.
Right.
But I got a guitar when I was 12 years old. My grandfather bought my guitar at Western Auto.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that where everybody gets their first guitar?
Yeah. Free rotations.
$14. And
Sorry.
it was more of they would check your brakes back that day for that. So, but the first song I tried to learn was Light My Fire, which is a terrible song to learn first because it was on the radio, but it has bar chords, and you can't start off doing bar chords. You just don't have the muscles for it.
Right.
Yeah, so I turned to Johnny Cash.
Does it make you happy then to know that at this Gaither event where we're currently sitting in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that there were whispers of that name when you were performing with the Nelons at this show?
Whispers like that. I'm just blatant about it. I mean, you start out copying your heroes, and then you try to develop your thing as well, or shine through. And but Johnny was great because he had simple chords. His stories are incredible, and I love story songs. Yeah. And he's so good at that, and he sings with such heart. And like Walk the Line, you can learn just about every chord on the guitar playing Walk the Line because it has 4 key changes in it, and without having to play a bar chord, by the way. So it's all good.
I want to know, what was your first Gaither Homecoming experience like? Because you had that last night.
That was really, truly incredible. It put me right back to my childhood. Aww. In a way.
Yeah.
Like in a way, like watching on television, like Billy Graham and all those acts and experiences from childhood. It was evangelical in a way. It was just incredible fellowship.
Yeah.
That was present there, and that it really touched my heart. And Bill and Gloria, I mean,
they're just the best.
Yeah.
They're my new heroes, really, and mentors. It's incredible. I learned so much just watching Bill.
I know.
Yesterday,
he's a machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, not he's a machine, but he's a maestro. He's a master at just the subtleties of like during the rehearsal about with the dynamics of everything and just how easy and he made it for everybody. And
exactly.
Encouragement and
he is the best at that. He
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
but the audiences that come out, they're the people, their hearts, and it's really really a lot of fun to be around a bunch of Christians.
Surprise!
we're all in there having fellowship, and you can feel God's presence.
Absolutely.
You really can.
As someone who looks from the side and watches you singers, it looks like a team sport. And the support that you would feel as an artist, and coming into a new season of life with this debut gospel project that you have. By the way, it's titled Fallen, and it's got some great songs that you've written. You've borrowed songs from the faith.
Yeah, it's called Fallen, and I wanted the biggest audience possible for the record, so I called it Fallen, a gospel record for sinners. And I thought that would
that's everyone.
probably include everybody.
That's everyone.
Yeah, right.
Save, yeah.
And he did that last night, and we got to sing with him.
Yeah, it was really
It was
great. They're
awesome.
fantastic.
And these guys, the Nelons, are backing you up a lot these days. And so
Yeah, we're gonna be
We're
on
working
tour
on a
together.
tour together.
Yeah, we're gonna do some dates coming
That's
up.
going to be a
here.
lot of fun.
So
It will
lesson
be a
number
lot of fun.
one, it's not nylon. It's
No.
not Nelson's.
No.
It's not Nelon.
No,
It's
We
Nelon.
always say it's knee lun.
Nelon. That's right. That's right.
That's how you
Knee
Knee
lun
lun.
land.
Almost like lunge, but you just
Oh,
don't put the
lunge.
T.
Okay. Sounds like an Olympic event.
It is
But
a lot of times
That's
when you're
great.
singing.
Yeah.
So not only are we here on Homecoming Radio, not only are we currently at a Gaither Homecoming event, but the making of Dennis's project was, in a sense, kind of a homecoming. You have Ben Isaacs, you have the Isaacs,
Yeah.
you have the Oak Ridge Boys, am I not mistaken, and
Yeah.
Gordon Mote. And so you've got a lot of key players
Yeah.
that a lot of people will recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great to see Gordon last night.
I know.
The guy's so funny.
He is.
Yeah. And Ben Isaacs, he produced it. And I also, David Ferguson was also a producer on it. He was the protege of Jack Clement, who was the original engineer at Sun Studios and was there when Elvis came in and discovered Jerry Lee Lewis and George Jones and a bunch of people. And he was my mentor as well. So I kind of had, because Ben Isaacs really knows, he knows the church, he knows faith music, he knows the bluegrass, he knows that.
He knows a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that thing,
Talk
and
about talented.
he's a genius.
He
He
is.
really is. And then I had David Ferguson, and Fergie really knows that kind of outlaw part.
Yeah.
That Fergie also produced Johnny Cash too, so
There you go.
There
it
you
was
go.
kind of like, so I kind of felt that kind of the two of them made me.
Yeah. Okay, you ask your question about movies because we can't have Dennis Quaid here and not talk a little bit about the movies.
I know. So I'm sure you get this question all the time, but we wanted to know, what's your favorite movie that you've ever been in?
For me, I judge my movies by the experience I had while making them.
Yeah.
Not
Absolutely.
just by how good they are
Right.
or stinky they are. And the right
I'm not
stuff.
going to ask you what your least favorite is.
The right stuff is my favorite movie because I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm playing my favorite astronaut, for my childhood, who wound up living 3 miles from me, and we became friends.
Yeah.
And then I got my pilot's license making that movie, and I still fly, in fact. And it
That
was
is
just
so cool. I didn't know you had your
was.
pilot's license.
I didn't want that movie to end. It was so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like a boyhood fantasy.
Yeah.
Here at Homecoming Radio with Dennis Quaid, Amber Nelon, I'm Daniel Britt. By the way, we're playing Fallen, we're playing On My Way to Heaven. But I would like for you to set up a song, not one of those two, another one that's on this album.
Ooh, dude,
and
why me, Lou?
and tell
That's my
us
favorite.
why you chose to include it.
Well, yeah, why me, Lord? Chris Christopherson, who was right in that same group with Johnny Cash, and he came along. I think it was 17 when I really first discovered him, and he was making movies as well. And in fact, did you know that Chris Christopherson was the top #1 box office star 3 years in a row in the 70s?
Really?
Yeah, and this is when they had Brando and Nicholson and Pacino and all this. Top box office star 3 years in a row, and what a songwriter! Take the ribbon from her hair. I mean, Bobby McGee will be sung 500 years from now,
Absolutely.
and so will Why Me, Lord.
It will.
And his songs come out of, they're so personal and so relatable at the same time. And knowing the story of how he wrote that song, he went to church with a hangover, not feeling so good, and the Holy Spirit hit him. He didn't know what hit him, but it's a beautiful song, and I relate to it so much. In fact, the other song that's on the album, On My Way to Heaven, Tanya Tucker called me up and said she wanted to do that song. This is before I made the record. And then she called back 15 minutes later and said Chris Christopherson wants to be on it too. Wow. And so I had Tanya and Chris and in the studio, and we're going to release that next year.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Holy Spirit, when you make a record, and tell me if I'm wrong, Amber, on this. When you go in, you're kind of in a closed environment, and you're pouring your heart out, and you're in the back of your mind, you're probably like, Lord, I hope this connects with the people because I'm having fun making it, but I hope that it makes it past the sidewalk.
Yeah,
and
because you don't know.
You don't know.
Well,
So now that
sometimes you can do songs on an album and it doesn't relate the same on the stage.
Sure, yeah, they don't
And
play.
so
Yeah.
you might enjoy it
yeah.
in the studio, and you like, I love this beat, I love the way this goes, but when you sing it on a platform, they'll just stare at you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I thought this was a great song.
I know it. A lot of it depends on what happens on the day, doesn't it?
It does.
And who's in there? It's like you come in with a song, and then you give it over to the band and the producer, and they come up with their ideas, and it's kind of, you never imagined it that way before.
I think that's the beauty of a song like Why Me, Lord, though. It's so simple.
Yeah.
But that's the one that connects.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't really even finish that. It's because that song touched me so much and has stayed with me for so long, and it's personal to everybody who hears it. That's
Absolutely.
why it's. That's because it reminds us that we're all human, we're all frail, and we need Jesus. We're not strong enough here on our own to do it, and and I know because I spent a good 35, 40 years trying to do it my way, and trial and error works for quite a long time. but I think that's the beauty of that song, and the only thing I did was I made it a little bit more upbeat, and I'm kind of a joyful spirit.
Right.
Yeah.
Naturally, and I that's what I wanted it to reflect in that. And I sent it to Chris and his wife Lisa after we'd done it, and they really liked it, which was really
That's so
gratifying.
neat. That's awesome.
Well, the album is Fallen, a gospel record for sinners, and you're a good man, my friend.
He is.
Well, thank
Thanks
you.
for being
Thanks
with
for
us.
having me here, and gosh, I'd like to come back next year if you have me.
Yeah, we'd love to have you next year.